Oh, my hair just fell into place, honey. Yes, let's do this thing. Oh, hi everyone. I am just Shawnee. Buy my merch. Buy my book. Oh, y'all see my book? Y'all see my friend hit me up about my book? She literally read that whole book that night. She was like, I cannot put this down. She texts me after every chapter like, bitch, I hate you, bitch. Why you got me watching this with all the lights on? I can't go to sleep now. I'm up all night. Like, yes, honey, that book is so good. Okay, so you remember when I was telling you guys about mommy issues? Yeah, I was writing it and I had to, I rewrote it because, yeah, I changed my mind. Well, I did it again. I rewrote it again. I'm on chapter 2 of the rewrite. No, I'm on chapter 3 of the rewrite, bro. There's 20 chapters. And be patient because it's going to be good. Because I was like, this doesn't sound like what I wanted to sound like. Okay. New idea. Like, okay. Anyway, we're watching scary videos today. Let's go.
This is the scariest camping story I've read so far, and it is specifically about Girl Scouts. So let's get into it. And I just want to be super clear, I randomly picked this story from my inbox, and it just happens to be one of the scariest ones I've read. But this story comes from Hannah, who immediately starts describing a Girl Scout camp. And that immediately drew me in because I used to be a Girl Scout, and I know exactly what these sleepaway camps look like, and they are absolutely terrifying to begin with. And just to set the scene, every Girl Scout camp that I've been to is literally in the middle of nowhere. And I'm talking like cabin in the woods kind of vibe going on where you have to like walk to the outhouse kind of thing. I don't know how much Girl Scout camps have been renovated since the story or since I've been a Girl Scout, but that's my experience and that's this girl's experience. Anyways, this girl goes on to describe the campsite that they were staying at. And it is exactly the way that I was describing it to you. There are 4 cabins. She was staying in cabin number 3. And in these specific cabins, this is important, you always sleep like in bunk beds or like in paired cots. And you always have a buddy to do things with. And again, this is just obviously for safety. And if you have to get up in the middle of the night, you're not just walking in the middle of nowhere in the dark by yourself. And that's exactly what this story's about. Hannah wakes up in the middle of the night and needs her buddy to wake up with her to walk to the outhouse. Mind you, the outhouse is like 3 to 5 minutes away. And her bathroom buddy is sleeping on the top bunk next to her. So she kind of turns over and goes to wake this girl up. And as her eyes are adjusting to the dark, she can see this girl sitting up in her bed looking straight forward. And Hannah, thinking that this is her bathroom buddy, is like whispering her name, when all of a sudden, this girl slowly turns her head to look at Hannah. And as this is all occurring, as what she thinks is her bathroom buddy is starting to stare at her, she realizes that the girl she's trying to get the attention of is still laying down fast asleep in her bunk. And the moment Hannah realizes that that is not a Girl Scout, she throws her pillow over her head and tries to go back to sleep. And as she's trying to fall back asleep, she starts to hear something. And it is another Girl Scout calling her name. And it's specifically the girl who's sharing a bunk bed with Hannah. And Hannah can still see this thing like looking at her. She peeks her head over and this girl is like, do you see that too? And immediately Hannah says, yes, I see it too. Somehow they gather up the courage to get up and go to the bathroom with each other. And by the time they got back to the bunks, this thing was gone. And they have absolutely no idea what this thing was. And they decided to tell their troop leaders about what had happened. And all these adults said back to them was, oh, well, that'll make a great story for the campfire tonight. And I guess it's also a universal thing to tell ghost stories around the campfire at Girl Scout camp. But nobody believed them, not even the other cabins, nothing. And the girl who was sleeping in the bunk bed had literally no idea that happened. Hannah and this other girl said that the girl woke up fine and she was actually in a really good mood and literally had no idea. And I don't know why, but this story just reminds me of when I went to Girl Scout camp and how freaking scared I was that I was going to see something like this. But that is also why I only made it through 2 Girl Scout camping events, 1 tent camping event, and 1 cabin camping event, because I was just so paranoid something weird was gonna happen, especially something like this. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Stay tuned for ghost stories.
That mother freaking part, honey. I was a Girl Scout. I went all the way up. I had a chance to get a scholarship. However, if anyone has been a Girl Scout, was a Girl Scout, is a Girl Scout, knows that the scholarship part is hard. Getting a scholarship is hard. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of stuff you have to do. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. My mom was my Girl Scout leader until I got older, and then I had a few more. And then my last one, she passed away a few years ago. It was so sad because I loved her so much. And she loved me so much. I felt the love. Like, that's the type of person she was. She like, you felt the love. And she would just hug me. It was just the best hugs ever. Oh, rest in peace to her. But yeah, I remember those camping trips. We had our Girl Scout camping site was really nice. We had a mess hall, and then we had, the campfire. And yes, it was a thing about telling scary stories at the campfire. However, I didn't know any scary stories. I didn't experience scary stuff. So when we went camping, we had a choice. But the last time we went camping, because you usually have a choice, like the little kids sleep in the mess hall, and then the older kids have a choice to do tents or cabins. And the last time we went, we were actually old enough to sleep in cabins. Like, they were like, oh, we're not sleeping in tents. So we slept in cabins. And I was never scared because I didn't know what to be scared about, because when I was younger, like y'all know, my mom didn't allow me to watch scary movies. I didn't see the Friday the 13th and all that. So I had no reason to be scared. So we slept in the cabin by ourselves. Me and my friend slept in the cabin by ourselves, but we didn't have bunk beds. We just had 2 cots, and she slept in. No, we had 2 cots, and I think it was 4 of us in there, 2 cots. So we doubled up beds. I guess I was a scaredy cat, but had no reason to be scared at the same time. But yeah, I know that experience, bro. Like being in the cabin, but I wasn't scared. And when I had to pee, I'm the type of person, I will hold it. I will hold it all night and go back to sleep. Like, I'll go back to sleep a few times and holding that, because I'm not wet in the bed, not doing that. But no, friend, that was really scary. She said that I wonder if they doubled up like we doubled up, because she was saying the one beside her, or maybe she was in the bed by herself and the thing was beside her. So when she was looking, she didn't realize the real person was laying down, or I don't know, or maybe the thing was sitting up on top of her. No, friend, y'all were so brave to get up. Yo, friend, how long was she up? Bruh? She was just like, hey, you see that? Looking up, seeing that, bruh. Being on the top bunk, okay, but being on the bottom bunk, oh, I'm running. Y'all can stay up in this bitch. Okay, I'll do a warning call. I'll be like, hey, or maybe not. I might not do it because I would feel scared that that thing would hear me and come and get me. Because I am this. And in the movies, we are the first ones, bruh. In real life, we're not. We're running. We're the first ones to run. We're not getting got because we learned from the movies, bruh. So I don't know if I would have, woke anyone up, because I feel like I would have ran. But the bathrooms were 3 or 5 minutes away. And how our campsite was, the cabins were in the woods. Like, you had to hike to get to those bitches. Like, so I don't know. I might have to rethink that. I'll be there and I'll be planning. So if she was awake and I heard her being awake, yeah, I would have did the same thing. Like, girl, we gotta get up out here. Us together. Because, if you fall, it saves me. No, I'm just playing, but no, it would be us together.
Did you guys hear about the girl who had a witch bring back her passed away boyfriend? Let me tell you what happens. So she's grieving, she contacts this witch and she tells her, hey, I would like for you to have my boyfriend show me signs that he's here. I want to know he's here with me. So the witch is like, I could do that for you. So objects start moving, cabinets open, lights would flicker around her apartment, and she wouldn't get scared about it. She knew, like, oh, this is him, like, but this isn't enough for me. I need this to be more. I want him here physically with me. I want to cuddle him. I want to hear him. I want to talk to him. So she reaches out to the witch, and the witch tells her, I do want to let you know, this is a 50-50. It could go good and it could go wrong. And if it goes wrong, it's not going to be him. It's going to be you. And the girl's like, yeah, like, I don't care. Just bring him to me. And she's like, okay, meet me at the graveyard at 3 a.m. It cannot be earlier and it cannot be later. Right at 3.
What just happened? I'm so mad. Cause why you ain't finished the story? Anyway, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened at all. I apologize for that, because I don't know what happened. What? What? Anyway, we're just gonna keep on going. I'm not even gonna say anything, because I'm upset. I'm gonna keep on going. I guess. That was wild. Actually, I am gonna comment, because what the freak are you doing? I understand love. I understand it. Especially your first love will drive you crazy when you lose it. When you lose that first love, you be hurt. And I understand what she's feeling. However, if somebody says there's a 50-50 chance that this could not be your boyfriend, that's a lot of percentage, honey. That's a lot. Even if it was like a 1% chance, I'd be like, Because when you take DNA tests and it's at 99.99, I'd be like, There's that 0.001 chance that it's not yours. That's what I think about, that 0.001 chance. Girl, no. I would not. You contacting witches to bring back people and have your boyfriend haunt your house? Like, what if you find a new man? Your boyfriend's still here. You can't bring your new man here and your old man still here. Your ghost old man, ghostly haunting your new man. Now, girl, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Maybe it wasn't meant for us to hear the rest of that story because it sounds a little scary. And it's weird that maybe it was something going on with her files, because I know I be looking now, because y'all be like, ooh, give me all the parts. And I'm just like, but y'all need to go to TikTok. But I understand you want to hear the whole thing. But yeah, I be looking. So
I didn't think this story was gonna be as scary as it was, but it definitely is, so let me just start. So this guy says that when he was younger, one of his distant aunts passed away. He says that he really didn't know her, but he could tell the big impact that her death made on the family. Since they all traveled into the town that she passed away at, they sent him to go and spend the night with his cousins. He explains how they weren't gonna stay at the cousin's house, but at their cousin's grandmother's house. He had never met their grandmother until then, and he explains how she was really nice and even asked him to call her Mama Carmen. And no, it was not his grandmother. He was related to the uncle. The aunt was by law married, and his aunt, so it was the mom's mom, so not his grandmother, but his cousin's grandmother. I hope that makes sense. He explains that Mama Carmen's house was really big and it was made out of wood and it was so pretty, but he knew that there was just something off or weird about it. So when nighttime came, they directed him to this really big room in the house, and the older cousin said something to him that just like threw him off. Before walking out of the bedroom, his cousin tells him, hey, whatever you do, just don't respond to them. And he was like, what? What do you mean? And the cousin tells him, just don't respond to the voices. Don't respond to the thing that's gonna talk to you from under the bed. Bitch, if you think I was about to stay there, I'm gonna go wherever you're going after that, because what the hell? However, he knew his cousins and how much they play around, all the pranks they've done on him in the past. So he was just like, ugh, this is another prank, so whatever, yeah, I won't listen to the voices. He also admits that when his cousins would stay at his house, he would also scare them, so obviously he just thought this was a joke. So he ends up falling asleep and then wakes up to a voice calling him by his name, Felipe. He thought he was dreaming, but as he opened his eyes, he could have sworn that he heard that last little Felipe. Not me giving myself goosebumps right now. So he's laying there very still, awake, and hears nothing. And as he's drifting off to sleep again, he hears that voice again, Felipe. This time, he recognized the voice calling him by name. It had been a very long time since he had heard that voice. It was almost like he had forgotten what that voice sounded like, and it was because it was his mom's voice. His mother, who was no longer living. He immediately gets up and starts walking towards the door. He says he doesn't even want to look back. He doesn't even have the courage to look back and see what is underneath the bed, but he exits the room. However, when he finally makes it to the door where his cousins were sleeping, he said that he felt embarrassed. He thought to himself, if I go in there and tell them that I'm scared or tell them that I heard voices, they're never gonna let it go. I'm gonna have to hear this for the rest of my life, and he didn't want to deal with that. He said that it took him a minute to grow some courage, but he just turned around and went right back to the bedroom that he was sleeping in. He walks down the hallway, goes into the room, lays down, and he's laying there for a good minute. And finally, he is drifting off to sleep, and that is when he hears the voice again. Felipe, I forgive you. You have nothing to forgive me for, he said, half asleep, responding to the voice. You wish for me to die, but I forgive you. The voice responded. So this is where Felipe finally starts telling us a story about what happened with his mom back when she was alive. And he says that he has to confess something that he had never told anyone. His mom was really sick, so sick that she fell into like some sort of paralysis on her body. And he had to take care of the mom because the dad basically abandoned them when this happened because he couldn't deal with it. So can you imagine, like, the mom fell into paralysis, the dad left because he just couldn't deal with it, and he left his son to take care of a fully grown adult. He does say that the dad did continue to send them money just to help out around the house, but he never showed up. He stopped playing outside with the neighborhood kids. He stopped doing his homework. He didn't go to school anymore. And all he did all day long, 24/7, was to take care of his mom. And he admits that at that time, he really hated his life and everybody who was in it. And yes, it's true. He really wished for his dad to die for doing this to him, but he also admits that he wished for his mom to die as well. He says that he doesn't wish her dead the same way he wished his dad dead. He wished her dead just so that she can get some peace, so that she wouldn't be in pain, and so that he can also just be a kid again. And he says that it was really hard to take care of her because she couldn't eat by herself, she couldn't shower by herself, she couldn't even go to the restroom. So it was things that he had to do for her, and it was a lot. But that desire for his mom to die was something that he never told anyone, not a single soul. And this is in fact the very first time that he's writing this down for this podcast to share with the world. So we go back to the voice telling him that she forgives him for wishing her dead. He is more asleep than awake when he asks for forgiveness to the voice that sounds like his mom. He admits that he doesn't know if it was really his mom or what was underneath that bed, but because of what the voice said, he wanted to ask for forgiveness, and he actually put his hand down underneath the bed. He didn't know what he expected. He didn't know if he expected somebody to grab his hand, for someone to say that he's forgiven, but he put his hand down there and actually fell asleep with his hand just hanging there. After falling asleep, he was awoken by a weird sound, and when he opened his eyes, it's when he felt a sensation of something touching his hand. He explains how the hand felt really rough, and it was definitely coming from underneath that bed. At first, he thought he was dreaming, but no, this was definitely not a dream. He was definitely awake. So by this point, the hand was already grabbing at his chest, and he was terrified. He said his heart was beating so fast. However, his curiosity won over the fear that he was feeling. So he literally moved to the edge of the bed and looked to see what was coming out from underneath the bed. What he saw was this very long, gray, old-looking hand coming from underneath that bed. It was fucked up. It was scary. As he was looking at the hand, he could see his hand next to that other hand, so he knew he was awake, but he couldn't take in what he was seeing. It was a lot, and it was crazy. He said at that point, his body became very cold. He was very stiff, and he can still look at his hand and at the hand grabbing at it now, like they're trying to pull him down. And in that very moment, as he's being pulled down, the voice is saying, "I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you." Over and over again. It was at this moment that that voice completely changed. It didn't even sound like his mom's voice anymore, and it sounded like it was making fun of him. So now the voice was like mocking him, saying, "Do you forgive me? Do you forgive me?" Like over and over. He said that the way the voice changed was like it was using his mom's voice, and then all of a sudden it was just not his mom at all. So like it was trying to trick him. For some reason, this reminds me of Leprechaun. Have you guys seen it? Where like his voice changes. That was also the moment where he remembered what his cousin told him. If a voice is talking to you, do not respond. He wanted to take that advice, so he decided to stay quiet, but at that moment, it was too late. He had already talked back to the voice. Without knowing what to do, he said that he literally bit his mouth so that he wouldn't talk anymore, closed his eyes, and just stayed very still. He even tried to like let go of the hand that was holding him, but the more he tried to let go of the hand, the more the hand was trying to pull him underneath the bed. "Felipe, let me go. I'm getting scared again, dude. Felipe, let me go. Felipe, let me go." That's what the voice was telling him now. He finally understood that that was not his mom. That was not his mom's ghost. That was not his mom at all. It was actually the complete opposite of what his mom was. So he fought. He said that he fought for the longest time. He tried to hit. He tried to hold on to the bed. He was not about to let this thing drag him under. And he was successful because it finally like let go of his hand from all the fighting that he was doing. And when that happened, he immediately turned to like the side of the bed where the wall is, where that thing cannot reach him. He said that he sat there next to the wall on the bed, just like waiting for a hand to come up and try to get him again. And it was like the longest silence he had ever experienced. But that was also when the sun finally came out and he heard somebody in the kitchen. He literally jumped off the bed to the door into the kitchen, and it was Mama Carmen that was in there. He told Mama Carmen everything that had happened in the bedroom the entire night. He admits that she never interrupted him. She heard everything he had to say. When he finally finished telling her what happened, she just looked at him, smiled at him, and said, "You shouldn't give anything that much importance." that surely it was a hallucination or he was dreaming. That maybe it was because of him going to the cemetery and funerals because of that aunt that passed away that might have caused him to hallucinate or have these types of dreams. She also asked him not to pay attention or to listen to his cousins because they're little scaredy cats and they also love scaring people but were scared as well. She told Felipe that they used to sleep in that bedroom and then didn't want to sleep in that bedroom anymore, so maybe they made it up so that no one could sleep in there. Sorry, what? You're telling me that they've experienced this, but you're saying they made it up because what? She said that she believes that they made up this story so that they can move out of that bedroom and somebody else occupy the space that they were always scared to sleep in. He admits that he would have loved to believe her saying that they made this up, but how would they explain the voice? How could he explain the things that the voice was saying that only he knew? Now I'm curious as to what his cousins experienced in that room, because it's obvious that they've experienced something. He was like, there's no way that they could have pranked me with my mom's voice and saying things that I had never told anybody. So yeah, she doesn't want me to be scared, but I believe my cousins and I believe they experienced something in there. He also says that he's never gonna forget what that hand looked like. Like, that was not a dream. That was not something that he dreamt of. He was awake and he was there. But man, I would not know what to do if that happened to me. What do you guys think?
Girl, you don't want to know what I think. You don't know. Oh, wait, that's why you're here. So what I think is that grandma knew something extra. And I don't know why she responded like that, but I feel like, I mean, there could have been a few ways, like, oh, you ain't my grandchild, or maybe she was evil on the DL, because I met some older people who are evil on the DL, or like they're evil to only kids, but when adults come around, they just the sweetest they can be. Or maybe she was like not trying to make him scared. Like, oh yeah, I know this is real, but I can't tell you that this is real because you'll be scared than what you really are. I feel like when a child is scared and you let them know or reassure them that, okay, it's okay to have this emotion, but let's process this emotion. Like fear, let me tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're scared of this, let's conquer this fear. Let me tell you how to conquer this fear. She should have said, hey, you should have been praying. Like, let's like when it was grabbing you, you should have been like, God, come through. Like, send your presence. Anybody who touched me is touching you, and you fight. Let them know that they can't touch me. Like, I'm covered by you. Like, that's what she should have said. But maybe she just didn't know, or she didn't believe, or maybe she really did think that he was dreaming this or hallucinating or whatever. But that was wow, friend. I know you're a baby. However, I don't care who gonna pick on me. I do not care. If I'm scared, I'm scared. We're all gonna be scared together, if anything, because I'm getting up out of there. The moment that happened, I would have been out of there. The moment his cousins set him up like that, my cousins would have told me, if my cousins would have told me something scary, you need to, like, don't respond to the voices, I'd be like, okay, friend, I'm sleeping with you. Like she said, I would have went wherever they went. I'm not going to be in this room. What are you talking about? That was a setup. That was really messed up of his cousins to set him up like that. It's time to eat. Let me make this quick. So yeah, no, friend, that was messed up. The moment you was at that door and decided, oh, I'm going to turn back around, not I. I'm getting up out that door. I'm out the house probably. I'm calling my mother, like, come and get me. Have I ever called my mom during a... Yes, I have. I have called my mother during a sleepover. Like, come and get me, please. And my mom was like, bet. And came and got me because ain't no freaking way, bruh. And then you respond? When they literally said don't respond, and you're experiencing this and you realize putting two and two together that this is what they're talking about. I understand you was a baby, but us the babies, I'm sorry, I was listening to somebody from New Orleans. I love how they talk. They be like, baby, I can't do it, but you know, you're a baby. Like, kids are smart, bro. We don't give them enough credit of how smart they're thinking is. You tell a kid not to do something, they actually think about it, be like, oh, someone told me not to do this. And they make that decision if they're going to do it or not do it. Depends on how you raise that kid. I was a kid that I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not. So yeah, I don't know. No, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have put my hand down there because you're wilding the freak out and let it grab you. And you just holding it. You just letting it hold you, bro. Okay. Because now it's your arm or my arm, and it's not my arm. I'm gonna figure out how to get your arm off. I'm gonna bite your arm off. I'm gonna gnaw that thing. I'm gonna go crazy on you because why you touching me now? Now you didn't unleash the beast. You unleashed the beast out here because what? Why are you touching me? I'm that scared, and I'm gonna figure out how to get the freak up out of this situation. That's just me though. Fight or flight. When in a fearful situation, I am fighting. That's how I am. That's how I'm made. This is what we're doing. So no, friend, I don't like that. I didn't like the story because you were doing silly stuff, but you was a kid. Nope. But yeah, like this video, follow all the creators, and subscribe. And don't forget to comment what you would have did in the situation. You know, was you? Nah, I know y'all. Y'all wouldn't have did any of that. Y'all would have been praying and rebuking, honey. Rebuking the devil. I feel y'all now because ain't no way you touching me. Talking to me. Who you think you is talking to me, honey? Get out of here.